Hi everyone, you're watching Good for the Game TV. It's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. It's time for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. Yes, on this show we talk rugby, but we don't just talk about players and results. We look at the handicap. We look at where the money's to be made. If there's points lines, we'll look at that too. So stay tuned for the show. If you are watching live, look forward to you joining us in the live chat. If you're watching the show for the first time, then go down below and hit the subscribe button, whack the bell, and you'll get notified of all of our previews, which are generally betting related. Although we do a Monday night show, Use It or Lose It, where we look at general rugby topics, in particular in the lead up to the Rugby World Cup. Well, as I said, 7 games to get through this weekend, so lots to talk. And I can tell you there's been loads of betting action in the week. It's been absolutely incredible, the line movement. It often happens towards the end of a tournament where some teams are no longer interested. Other teams need to win with a bonus point, and you get lots of things like players rested and stuff. But let's talk about the panel, because there's no rest for these boys. I must say on that note, Henrik Swart, we're giving him the night off. He's been gone for something like 15 consecutive weeks. We said to him, take a break, lad. Play yourself into form over the weekend, but he'll hopefully be joining us in the live chat. Let's start off with Sean Nicholas. Sean, good to have you on the show. Sorry there's no sevens this weekend.
Yeah, how's it, Brent? Nice to be back as always. And yeah, the sevens was fantastic. Just one little shout out to Liverpool and to all the supporters. Number 6, didn't make it last week, so it's good to be back after that Champions League victory.
It's amazing that you still mention. I mean, that was ages ago. That's history, eh?
You've got. I'm going to mention it.
In his head there, Couch. I mean, come on, man. We don't even let you talk about a winning bet from yesterday, and this guy's trying to go back 2 weeks.
I should have gone short on minutes until Sean brought up Liverpool.
That's it. Just having a look at the live chat, I see Henrik has joined us there. He's and Donnie said Henrik's going to surprise us with an accumulator, so hopefully Henrik will do that in the live chat. So Henrik, good to have you on the live chat, and thanks to all the boys who have joined us. We've got 7 games to talk about, and Sean, let me start with you. It all gets going tomorrow morning. Now, I did my Super Rugby handicap projection show on Sunday, and I looked at the Highlanders against the Waratahs. I said 14.5 points, and my logic at the time was that the Waratahs were, I think, going to be forced to rest a few players. They were all but done and dusted as far as the tournament goes, where the Highlanders were still in with a realistic chance of the playoffs. Now, that handicap actually opened minus 10.5. I managed to climb into that, as I think a lot of the lads did, and subsequently moved up, and I'm about to pop on and just have a look. But the last I looked, this handicap was trading somewhere around the 19.5 point mark. In fact, I see your Sunbet have got 19.5 points the line. So first of all, did you get involved early, and what's your opinion of the current line?
Yeah, just looking at that, I mean, the minus 10.5, that was gold. I mean, that was just looking at the Highlanders they still have to get a bonus point win, so they have to win by 3 tries or more than the Waratahs. So that's 21 points. If 2 aren't converted, that's 17. So they anything over 14 or anything under 14 was gold for me, and that's exactly what it was minus 10.5, which was fantastic. And then looking at the team news, that Mason for the Waratahs. He played against the Sunwolves. He was terrible. He's error prone. I don't know if that was just a bad game, but just knowing that he's going to be the fly half for the Waratahs, that's just, I think the Highlanders are going to cream them. But then there was Monday's thoughts coming back to now. The weather, they're not playing under the roof. So is 19 points at these current lines? I don't know if I'd get involved. I'd be more plus than a minus at 19.5. But if you got 10.5, then stay with what you got.
Yeah, Stephen Mark's mentioning on the live chat there that the weather's not that great. And so let me just stay with you for a second. But being on the 10.5 and that, I must say I'm not that concerned about the weather. One of my logic there is that the New Zealand teams tend to play so well in the weather. And often the weather, although it's probably not great if you've got a really big handicap, but often the team, if I could say, the favourites often perform better in the wet weather than the underdogs. And the underdogs, maybe like I don't know what the Waratahs points line is, but perhaps if I could get under 16 or 17.5 on Waratahs points, I might be looking at that.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to look at the side. 5 changes from their normal team, and then, like I said, an inexperienced fly half in the wet away in New Zealand in a game that doesn't mean anything. It all points to the Highlanders winning. It's just how much are they going to win by? So that's the thing. I don't see the Waratahs, scoring many points. So I totally agree with everything you said there. I think that the Highlanders by probably about the 14-15 mark. That's what I would cap the game at. So yeah, I wouldn't get involved at 19.5.
Well, just a shout out. Good to see Brendan O'Connell, who's back safely in Dubai, and also Ruan Fari and Donnie joining us on the live chat. Good to have you guys there. Kevin Turner coming in as well. And let's go to Couch Critic now for his opinion on this game. Couch, I haven't read your Super Rugby preview on the Good for the Game website yet. Have you labelled anything in this one?
Yeah, Brent, I mean, it's no Hooper, no Beal, Foley, Kepu, Simmons. I mean, that's all your Wallabies are sitting out. But then again, as Sean has said, this being a dead rubber for the Waratahs, it might actually be a good thing for them that those guys aren't playing, because I mean, mentally they just wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have gotten themselves up for this game, and maybe going for the youngsters is actually a better move there for the Waratahs. But I'm going for the approach of hoping that the Highlanders have got everything to play for, and maybe the Waratahs will start off plucky, but at the end, I mean, no one wants to go play rugby down south there. It's miserable, it's cold, there's just nothing nice about it. You've got an absolute idiot as a coach, and you just want the season to end. So I'm hoping it's Highlanders all the way. And as you said, I'm actually thinking, if there's regulars, I probably would have gone for the win 2-0 at a beautiful price there, because I think the Waratahs could struggle to scrape to 10 in this one. So as you say, you struggle to see the Highlanders getting 40 points in the weight, but I think it's going to go the opposite. I think the Waratahs are going to struggle getting too many points on the board. So hopefully, even the 18.5 that I saw at WSB is probably still for me the way to go. And then obviously the Waratahs low on points there.
Well, I went on this particular one. I went on the good for the game when I decided I'm on the minus 10.5. Make no mistake, I got heavily involved at Bet Exchange on the minus 10.5. So I do need them there. But I had a look at it now, and I had the similar logic to what I got later on. I'll talk to you about in the Huggy game. I'm saying the Highlanders are going to come out smoking, I believe, and going to look to build a lead. And what I'm saying now is I actually prefer, if I had to get involved now, I'd be looking at the halftime handicap. I think I've got minus 9.5, minus 10.5 in the preview there, somewhere around there, looking for them to start quickly. So that's where I'd be leaning in this game. But yes, I did get involved in a lot of the early value. And just to mention to you, if you are the type of punter who likes to look for early value, then don't miss our early show on a Sunday. Don't miss the Good for the Game forum, because the guys do highlight a lot of value there. Couch, anything on the try scorers front that you want to share here?
Yeah, I'm just sticking to the normal guy again in conditions that you don't expect a lot of tries. I don't get overly involved in the try scorers, but Shannon Frizzell's on the bench again. I've tried him out twice and he hasn't delivered, but I just I think he's due one, and he's like a wrecking ball when he comes on late in the game. So I think he might get over there, and so I've got him as last try scorer. I think 14-1 as last try scorer. And then Brent, on that point, I'd usually also go for the halftime cap. I think it's usually a good one, and especially in wet conditions, the game could just really become even more miserable in the second half. But just I just don't see why the Waratahs would keep on playing if they're already down by 10 at the break. Then I think they'll just let things go in any case. So I still think if the halftime cap's going to come in, I think the full-time cap will come in as well.
Excellent. Well, you also had a go at the Waratahs coach there. Well done to the guys in the live chat who went at under 3.5 minutes for Hein to have his first dig at someone on the show. Very, very well done there, lads. Sean, just to bring you in before we move off this game, the points line, Emil just confirming 56.5 points, and Henrik's come in straight away, and he said, given conditions, that looks like quite a high points line.
Yeah, that seems quite high. I know the Highlanders haven't put, this contradictory in a way, but they haven't put many teams away. They haven't scored that many. Waratahs, I don't think they're going to get more than 12 points for the game. So I think that's quite high. I'd definitely go under 56 points. The Highlanders just have to score 3 tries more than the Waratahs. I think once that happens, in that weather, I don't know if they'll keep attacking and go for broke, or if they'll just, go defensive and just keep that 3-try buffer.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to the next game, and it's the Rebels up against the Chiefs. Now, both of these sides can still make the playoffs. I handicapped this game plus 6.5 Rebels. I really thought the Chiefs would start firm favourites. In fact, when the betting came out, the GG Gaming came out first. They actually agreed with me. They were, I think, plus 7.5. But when all the other bookies came out, they came out with the Rebels actually as slight favourites. Now, I've seen a bit of money for the Chiefs because on most book, you do see that the Chiefs have just edged into favouritism. But, Couch, let me come to you there. I was very, very surprised with the opening line, but perhaps even more surprised that there hasn't been more money for the Chiefs.
Now, Brent, 5 weeks or a month ago, I think it would have been the other way around. I would have made the Rebels minus 6.5 favourites at home. They were leaders of the Australian Conference. The Chiefs were in all sorts, struggling. No Damian McKenzie, and it just looked like they just wanted the season to be finished. And then the Chiefs kind of just started chucking along and putting in some decent performances, and we all know what happened in Fiji. And then the Rebels just went the other way. I mean, they had that one good result against the Sunwolves, but I scratched that one. everyone's looking at Quade Cooper's back and Virginia's back, but they were both there when they lost at home, and the Blues or someone, I'm not exactly sure, they lost to someone else. So I'm not too concerned about that. To me, the Rebels, it's happened to them in previous years. They just haven't had a good second half of the tournament, and I think they've run out of puff. And also, I said in my preview, it's Sam Cane's playing Alamalo, Nathan Harris, and Brody Retallick. I mean, that's the first time this season that all of those key players are going to be together on the park at the same time. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to put in a good one. And as we said, as opposed to the previous game, both teams has got something to play for. But the Chiefs, I think they'll see it as a huge victory coming from the start. They had to go to make the playoffs. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to come good here. If you're feeling a little bit more creative, then maybe the Rebels to lead it off time and the Chiefs to take it at full time. But I'm thinking the value and I took it. I'm with you, Brent. I thought I snapped up the Chiefs early doors. I thought they would strengthen in the betting, and there's hardly been any movement. So I'm a little bit nervous that I thought maybe I've missed something, but I still think Chiefs are the way to go.
Yeah, I'm on the Chiefs early, so I won't be budging. I got them at plus a half point, and that's at 90-20. So the draw at least is in my favor there. Let's go to Sean. Sean, did you get involved in this one early? You also surprised like us, or were you more in the Rebels camp?
No, I didn't get on it early, and I would have, I thought the handicap was pretty well set at -6.5, and then when I saw it come out at even game, it was just crazy. I mean, you saw 8 to 10 Rebels, then even money Chiefs, and then vice versa wherever you looked. So I think that the Chiefs have they've hit the if you look at if it's a graph of the season, the Rebels have gone down in the last 6 weeks, so the Chiefs have just risen and risen. The same Chiefs team that was down 20-0 to the Crusaders and still beat them, which is just
thanks for bringing that one up, Sean.
So with all the players that Hines mentioned, especially Retallick, that's massive. I think the game is going to be one up front, and the Chiefs are much better in that department. They defensively, they don't give away many penalties. They're quite good defensively. I don't think the Rebels have got to score tries, and I just don't see it. They got drubbed 66-0 last weekend. Everything points to a Chiefs win for me. So I think the Chiefs by more than 7. I'd say the Chiefs by 1 to 12 is probably, or actually even more than that. Chiefs minus 10, I would say on this, to get an extended handicap if you want to be a bit adventurous.
This could be one that our old friend Oracle Rugby might have emptied the granny's pension fund on one of the old extended handicaps. Talking to old friends, Brendan O'Connell there in the live chat, he'll be looking for a few unders plays this weekend. Absolutely no doubt about that. So he's hoping for as much rain as he can possibly see. Anything else on this game, Couch?
Yeah, I've just had a little nibble at Brody Retallick anytime tries scorer there. I got 4-1 with Bet Olympus, a special running, and I think he's going to be supercharged coming back, and hopefully he'll get over from close range. He does have a knack of getting over the whitewash, so I'll take that.
Yeah, he has scored quite a few tries in his time. You're quite right. Let's move on to Saturday morning. When I say Saturday morning, I think it kicks off at something like just after midnight or something South Africa time. So I guess it qualifies as a Saturday morning game. It's Jaguares up against the Sunwolves. And Couch, let's start with you there. The handicap seems to have pretty much been around the 20.5 point all week. I can't recall what it opened. I must say it was a game where I didn't see a lot of value, although, like I mentioned on GG Gaming Gone Mad, the show just before this one, if anything, I'm leaning on the Jags on the halftime handicap because they only need a victory, and I think they may come out smoking and look to get the job done.
Now, we singing from the same hymn sheet there, Brent. I've also got the Jaguares halftime -10.5. I'd like 9.5, obviously, but at this stage, I've seen 10.5, which I've taken. Everyone was wondering a little bit about the Jaguares team and who they're going to announce, but they've done a great job this season in really, working with a squad. So it's not that important who they start and who comes off the bench. But I do think they've given a few guys a rest. I don't know, unless Creevy's injured, he's not even in the 23. So I think possibly, they could take their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half if they think they've got the job done. Because I mean, as you said, they just need a win. They might not even need a win, but they'll probably they'll get the win against the Sunwolves. They'll think they've got that one in the bag. So go and do that job in the first half and secure second place, and then it's start thinking about the quarterfinals. So I think they'll do, as you said, come out and try and get the job done in the first 40.
And you got anything on the try scorers? I mean, are you going to be sleeping? You're going to be watching this game?
No, I'll probably watch until the first try is scored, which is hopefully from the Jaguares and hopefully from the hooker Montoya, and then I can go and sleep happy. Yeah,
that's it. Hein and the hookers late on a Saturday or Friday night. We expect nothing less of you, mate. Let's go.
I'm glad to see the hookers help you sleep on Saturday night. So nothing's changed. It's good to hear.
Good to hear.
Money well spent, my boy. Money well spent.
Hey, Sean, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's going to be this, the same thing. I mean, the just looking at last season, the Waratahs played the Sunwolves last game of the season. Waratahs won 77-25. I don't know if you guys, Brent probably tipped the Sunwolves on the plus that week, but they got absolutely hammered. I think that they're traveling. Came to South Africa this last weekend, going to Argentina. That can't be good for going across the world really in a game that doesn't matter to them. They're going to be playing for pride, but the Argentinian team are just fired up, and like you said, they'll come out firing. They want to get the job done early. But I think that when they bring on the subs are going to want to prove to the coach that they want to play, in the playoffs. So it's going to be, everyone's going to want to prove themselves that comes off the bench. So I don't think there's any rest for the Sunwolves. So I think, halftime, handicap, full time, whatever way you look at it, the Jags are going to win this comfortably.
Right, and Sean, let's go on to the next game then. Saturday morning, it's the Hurricanes against the Blues. Talking of line movements, my goodness, this one moved, and it moved purely on team selection. There was lots of speculation early in the week. There was plus 10.5 Blues initially. It got edged into plus 9.5. That's where I wrote the preview, and I tipped the plus 9.5 because I did expect that the Hurricanes, they can finish no better than fourth on the table. I did expect they might name a weakened side, but I did not expect the line movement that transpired. And I mean, now we're into the situation where, and I'll just pop on here, and we have a look where the Hurricanes are actually only very, very slight favorites. They're sort of 8-10 to win the game. And unfortunately, I must tell you that I didn't take, I was planning to take the 9.5, but you snooze, you lose. I never got it, so I'm not involved in this game yet. But did you get involved early, or at current lines, do you see any value?
No, I think, I looked at it exactly the same. I looked at it and thought, okay, that's a good one. The Blues on the plus in a meaningless game for the Canes, that's definitely the way to go. But now, the fact that the handicap was plus 10.5, and now you're looking at an even money game, psychologically as a punter, it's hard to get involved now. I think you've missed the boat if for the Blues. I'd probably be leaning on the Hurricanes to win the game, but it's a leave alone. Leave it. You never know what you're going to get. The Blues could be the Blues, the good old Blues, and they could let this one slip. You just don't know. So it's a plus 10.5. Would be a nice safety net, but at a choice game, I would just leave this one completely alone. Right.
Couch on that game, there has been a lot of movement. When you wrote your preview, had the line already moved, or was it still at 9.5?
No, that already moved. I actually looked at it last night, and I started writing, and I just wanted to finalize my prices in the morning and look around personally, and then it was all gone, and I saw obviously the team news and the Barretts are out, and Laumape is out, and TJ and Artie off the bench. So obviously some big changes there, and I must say I was kicking myself because I knew that was going to happen. So I think we should have preempted that one and gotten ourselves ahead of the curve there. So it's a little bit of a disappointment. I think some of the others caught the highlights, and I don't know, that one kind of slipped in under the radar. So there was definitely some good value there. As you guys say now, it's pretty fair that it's a even money game. I think it could go either way. And when I'm not sure about the result, then I like to take those halftime, full-time plays. I think there's some value in taking, especially in this case, the Blues halftime, a little bit of a not your normal Hurricane side, and then off the bench you've got RD and TJ coming up and trying to make sure they'd like to go into the quarters with some winning momentum. So I think it'll be Blues Hurricanes. I'm sure you can get a 6-1, and then I've got in my promotion my special play is Blues to lead by 1-8 at halftime, and Hurricanes to win by 1-8 at full time at 12-1 with Bedlam.
Yep, that's certainly a good price. I see Hendrik Swart on the live chat thinking very much the same as me. He's going Blues 1-12 or either team by 1-7. And I was actually going to say to you up front, the 1-12 markets, I guess, will be quite popular for this one because let's face it, the Kiwi derbies do tend to be tight. I think the Blues have lost all 3 of their away games against New Zealand opposition this season, but none of them by more than 12 points. So that 1-12 is certainly a big runner. That's 4 games out the way, gents, and we're moving on. And let's go to the Brumbies Reds. I had to laugh, Sean, because I know you're on a WhatsApp group with me where we sometimes talk about a rugby, and you asked a question in the week, guys, does anyone fancy anything in this game? And it was the first time I've ever seen no one answer. It was like, No one's
Cricket.
been about this game, quite frankly. And it's interesting because, I mean, the line there, 8.5 points, Brumbies. You know, if both teams were going for 100%, you'd climb into the Brumbies. They got a brilliant record against the Reds. And when pushed, I'd go Brumbies minus. But it really looks like a game perhaps to avoid as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's a game to avoid. All go in running. I mean, I was also a bit worried about team news, looking at that line before. I mean, there was some -6.5 somewhere, and then, I think 10.5 at Hollywood. So there's a good swing, So it's just, that's why I asked the question, like, which side are you guys leaning? And then got nothing in return. So, but just looking at Tom Banks, the Brumbies team, it's a good side. It's not like they're resting any big names. Rory Arnold's still there. Leofanu's there at 10, and I think that the Brumbies should win this 1-12. If I had to take one, I'd take it there. But because it's a meaningless game, I just save the powder, keep the powder dry for the South African derbies.
Couch, I haven't seen the lineups. Is your hooker playing?
Yeah. No, my hooker's involved. My hooker's involved. So no, it's definitely. I actually had a look just now. It was the first time I had a look. I was thinking the Brumbies might decide to rest a few guys, and I was actually surprised that they've pretty much got the A team running out there. So I actually think I was going to have a look now and try and see what the best minus is. I think the Brumbies are going to go for that option of let's keep the momentum going. Yeah, we don't want to take the foot off the gas. Let's keep pushing, and I think the Reds will give them a little bit of a go, but then eventually, realize in the last 20 there's just nothing to play for. Yeah, so if you could get 8.5, I'd probably have a little bit of a nibble. I did have Brumbies 1-12 as my play before I saw the team news. I thought Leo Lefano or someone would sit out, and he hasn't. So I've actually switched from that. I did get 17-10 with Pedro Limp on the 1-12, but as I said, I'm probably leaning more towards the minus handicap now. And then I just want to say in the previous game as well, I had Adi Sevilla as my last try scorer at 20-1. I forgot to say that.
Just an interesting thought on that. And I see Henrik mentioning in the live chat, he's surprised the Brumbies have gone full strength. Reckon the coach will pull the star players early in the second half. And Sean, it's a good point there because there's another angle to this as well. The Brumbies, they assume like we do that the Hagaris are going to beat the Sunwolves. But let's face it, in this Super Rugby, there's been bigger upsets than 20-point upsets this season. If for some reason the Sunwolves somehow get a result against the Hagaris, all of a sudden the Brumbies are in a situation where they have to win the game. Could we even have a situation, and I'm saying this from a betting point of view, could we have a situation where he's named a full-strength side, but the moment game day comes, all of a sudden 2 or 3 of the players mysteriously are replaced? I think we had that with one of the South African teams,
the Lions against
who actually
the Chiefs.
admitted doing it, misleading people. So could this even be a situation where he's named the side on the basis that, okay, look, maybe the Sunwolves get something and then we go for it. But at the moment, that doesn't happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 or 2 of these starters not even take to the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. It was the Lions against the Chiefs in that game where Marks was on the bench and then all of a sudden he played. And everyone who had, the Chiefs on Super Brew and just scrambled to try and make a change because they knew, it was a different game. I think he's done it just as a professional thing you've got to do with it. There's a chance for them to finish in the second place. After that game, he might still start that, but like, Hendrik mentioned in the chat, after even 20, 30 minutes, he might take, the big boys off, take Banks off, take Arnold off, take the guys that you really need, for the playoffs. Because the last thing he wants is an injury in the last meaningless game before the playoffs. So that could be...
Sorry,
just looking at that, I mean, it could be primed for a perfect in-running, scenario where you're just looking at the Brumbies build a big lead, knowing that the Jags have won and that they can only finish third. You can look at a good Reds plus and get stuck into that, knowing that the Brumbies will take out all their big boys later.
Yeah, that's good thinking. Look for the Brumbies to get ahead early. Couch, anything more on that game before we move on to the Stormers Sharks?
Yeah, I'll just go for the man with 41 Super Rugby try, Scott Higginbottom to score the last try. I think maybe the bookies will be a bit smarter and it'll only be about 14-1. But Scott Higginbottom, I'll be adding him tomorrow morning to my special play with Pedro Limp, so we'll see what we can get there.
Right. Well, Couch, I'm going to stay with you for the next game. It's the Stormers up against the Sharks. Both these sides still very much in playoff contention as well. And here I see the Stormers are slight favourites at 15-20 or -1.5 on the handicap. So a tight game. So we in the GG Gaming Gone Mad show before this, we had a competition for the live viewers. And I must say it was quite an even split. I would say the Stormers got more votes, but there's some people that think the Sharks can win this one as well.
Oh, Brent, I think you can discard that even split because we were two guys who went for the Sharks, and I was one of them out of loyalty. So don't worry, don't worry too much about that. It's pretty firmly everyone in the Stormers camp. I don't know. This is pretty much rubbish versus rubbish. Yeah, I don't know. It's a case of this. I hate it when people say this, but it's a case of who wants it more. And I think literally in this case, it's a one who wants it less. Who's going to lose this one, because I think it's going to be useless. I honestly don't think either of these teams want to make it into the playoffs and go even. We were talking at work this week, we were saying, geez, what do we need to do to go to Canberra, because that's almost like the best case scenario is try and pick the Brumbies, and even that's going to be a tough role the way they're playing at the moment. So I mean, the Sharks are just back from Argentina. Please don't send them back again. And you don't want to go to Christchurch. So this is the only game I wouldn't mind the Sharks losing and just staying at home. From a punting perspective, I don't think there's any value there. It's flip a coin for me on the team. No, even Etzebeth, it's not a full strength Stormers team that's going to be doing duty. A team of JJ. Okay, I don't want to take out another player, but some of those centers in the Stormers lineup aren't the first choice guys I'd be picking if I have to be diplomatic. And no, it's not going to be a high quality game. I don't think. Everyone said the Sharks are better away from home, so maybe they'll play decent rugby in Cape Town. It's still a decent Sharks team, even though we've obviously got Rob at fly-off, which is a heck of a problem. So again, for me, close enough to call, go half-time, full-time. I'll take Stormers half-time, Sharks full-time. Again, you're going to get 6.5 to 1, and that's probably what I'll be going for. And then obviously tuck in a first try scorer or last try scorer and make it fun for yourself.
A few interesting things about what Couch said there. First of all, he said he didn't like the game at all and then proceeded to give us 3 bets. Secondly, he mentioned he spoke to people at work, so that clears up the rumor as to whether he works or not. And Sean, what do you think of his bets?
I just want to know, did he speak to any of these hookers at his work? You know, that's what I just want to know. Just on this, I think that the Sharks are in massive trouble. I think that I don't see the Sharks winning this. I think they've got no chance. I think the Stormers will just win this game no matter what. The fact that the Sharks don't have Bosch, that's massive. If he was playing, then I'd make it a bit closer. But they just look clueless with Dupree at 10. There's clearly something's gone wrong there. In the team, you can just see the gel. They're not gelling nicely. They're not playing well. They're coming back from Argentina. You know, like Khan says, they don't want to win and go back to Christchurch or anywhere else. You know, it's not great for anyone. So just mentally, they cannot be up for it. It's an away game. They've got Bosch isn't there. Stormers all the way. It's Stormers any way you look at it. I think Stormers win this.
Well, Henrik and Brendan in the live chat both hoping for rain. I think Henrik suggesting there has been some rain around and hoping it'll continue for the unders. I must admit, this is not a game I have a particularly strong opinion on, although after listening to Sean, I do find myself for some reason starting to lean towards the Stormers. Let's stay with you there, Sean, because your team, the Lions, are up in action in Johannesburg. It's a game also where I think the Bulls are guaranteed of making the playoffs no matter what. The Lions could potentially still fall out, but certainly have got a fairly good chance. This game opened up virtually even. The 8 to 10 Bulls hung around for a while. I must say I did get involved because I handicapped this game at -7.5 or -6.5 the Bulls when I opened when I did my projection video. It's taken a while, but the money has come for the Bulls. I see -4.5 now, Sean. I mean, Gavin, in his days of supporting the Lions, and funny enough, I'll be watching the game with Oracle Rugby. He's up here in Joburg, and I'm going to go to the game with him. So I'll post a pic on Twitter of the two of us there. But what do you think of this one? Is the line moving in the right direction, or is there any value in the Lions?
Nah, okay. Firstly, looking at the Bulls, I mean, their best finish they can finish is 5th, and the worst they can finish is 8th. So finishing 8th, you don't want to go to Christchurch. So I think that's got to be a carrot for them. Looking at the Lions without Kwagga Smith, that's a massive loss. Whiteley's still not back. I can't see. And then the Bulls have got all their stars back. From there, and a lot of them are playing their last ever game at Loftus. So I think it's going to be quite an emotional game for them, for the fans. It's going to be quite something. And then I was just reading that the Bulls haven't made the playoffs since 2013, where the Lions, they've been the glitz and glamour of South African rugby for the past couple of years. So I think the Bulls would want to get one over them. Everything points to the Bulls for me. Sadly, I just don't see the Lions competing with them, and I think that this is going to be a big score, and the Bulls are going to run away with it in the end.
certainly hope for an exciting game, and I'll be looking for a big Bulls win because I'll hopefully by that stage have a double ending on the -6.5 that I took early in the week from the Highlanders -10.5. Brendan O'Connell just coming in and saying, thanks, Sean. Stormers are my best bet. That is, of course, in reference to the previous game. Couch Critic, are you getting involved in this one?
I think Coyle has to reconsider anyone who's got Stormers any week as your best bet. You're in a bit of trouble, huh? But no, I'm thinking it's Bulls all the way. Brent, I don't know if you do have a Bulls jersey. I'm sure you can ask someone to give you one because you might as well wear it. It's going to be big. I think no Kwagga, no Whiteley. The only one hanging in there is Elton and Marks, but it's just not going to happen. As Sean said, the Bulls are going to be keen. With all due respect to them, I don't think Puerto and the Brains Trust has been doing the calculations there about what they need. They think they need to win. They want to win. I don't think they think they're safe. Which even though they are, they're gonna try and win this one. And I think they're gonna give the Lions a bit of a hiding, as Sean said. Especially they pulled away in the second half. We've said travel isn't as much as a factor of this coming back from a tour. I actually think they're going to be full of confidence. I mean, this is the first time really that they've shown that they can compete in New Zealand. I think there's a little bit of a pull in the stop there. Dwayne Vermeulen back, Polly obviously playing. Kriel didn't make it into the team, but I mean he was around probably. So I'm still thinking they were. It was a good vibe in the camp, and it's all systems go. I'd take the 4.5 at the moment. I'll probably take a little bit of a bite of about 9.5, so them to win by 10 or more at, I don't know, 15-10 or something like that. So that's I'm going, and I've also got evens, half-time, full-time, the Bulls.
Right, I see Henrik mentioning that if his maths is correct, winner of the Bulls v Lions goes to Wellington, and if result goes the right path, the loser goes to Canberra. Where would you go? Suggesting perhaps that depending on other results on the weekend, it may not be a bad thing to lose. I hear what Henrik's saying there, but I do think that the Bulls are going to go all out to win this game because I guess looking beyond that as well, the further up the table you are, the more likely you are to perhaps get lucky and either have an easier semi-final or a home match at some time. But it is a point to note, certainly on this last
weekend. Don't worry, Henrik. They wouldn't have made those calculations by kickoff time. It's all good. All good.
I've got to confess, all three of us in the studio read that, and none of us have tried to verify those calculations because we absolutely don't have a clue. But guys, just Stephen Marks just mentioning Speckman back as well. So the Bulls, I'm expecting a comfortable win. I think this line's going to shift out. I think it's going to start 6.5 to 7.5 points. Guys, that was a quick show tonight. And I think one of the reasons was that we quite aligned on things, so there wasn't too much debate. We also got a lot of our bets on early in the week. So looking at, let's talk current lines now and nail down our best bets for the weekend. I've got to send out the Good for the Game newsletter tomorrow. By the way, there's a link to subscribing to that newsletter. It's absolutely free, and we send out some bets every Friday. So click on that and subscribe. Let's start with Sean. Sean, what's your best bet?
Current lines, sure, there's bad going against the team, but the Bulls -4.5 is, that's golden.
Right, and Couch?
I agree with Sean on that one. Put it in the newsletter. It's the Bulls are taking over Loftus -4.5. Polly and the boys are going to do it. Early lines, as we said, Islanders was great, but now we gotta go there. It's definitely the Bulls.
Right, and I'm going to rubber stamp that. I've got the Bulls 8-10, but I'm saying even at current lines, the -4.5, I'll be happy to go on the Bulls. So all three of us align with the Bulls. Guess what's going out in the newsletter? I'm not going to mention Coyle Stormers pick, I can tell you.
And of course, just a slap in a dead certainty there, Proteas to beat Afghanistan, eh?
Let's hope we get some play.
Let's not do that.
And on that note, guys, just to finish off, anything else catch your eye on the weekend from betting angle, Couch?
No, Brent. I'll obviously try to get involved a little bit in running in the US Open Golf. I saw both of our headline punt there. DJ wasn't great. He went to +1. He recovered a little bit, but Rory's looking pretty good there. So it might be tough covering and getting on him, and Fowler's also off to a good one. So I think it might just be a case of watching the golf, and then maybe the criteria, maybe a bit of cycling. Maybe we can catch something in the cycling, and otherwise, that's obviously going to be cricket. Hopefully, I definitely don't need rain this long weekend. I need some cricket.
Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to the cricket. Cycling as well. I've just edged in front now, I think, on the Dauphine. It's very sad to hear about Froome's accident yesterday in the or prior to the time trial, so he's unfortunately out of the Tour de France. Emil says Toulouse to win the top 14. And Sean, anything else for you?
Yeah, I was going to actually just say that. So Emil's, still in there. I think Toulouse are fantastic. They're just quality. That's, I don't know if you've seen Cheslin Colby for them at fullback. He's amazing. I mean, he scored a try in the game last weekend, which is just, he's dancing around people. He's playing well, and that team has just hit form at the right time. And I think the handicap's -1.5. I think that's Toulouse are going to win by 10 plus.
Excellent. Well, personally, I'll be watching the golf, the US Open, shouting out Dustin Johnson and Snedeker, but I haven't got too involved up front, so I may save a bit of funds for some in-running play. I'll definitely be placing some cycling bets that'll go down on the Good for the Game forum. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I think the next show we're going to be doing is, I'll do the Sunday handicap projection show, and then on Monday night, we'll have Use It or Lose It. We've got a couple of interesting topics we might discuss. We haven't firmed it up. One of them could be, is New Zealand rugby in decline? I'm sure a few of the New Zealand watchers won't like us to discuss that, but it's something we want to talk about because the under-20 side were pretty darn poor against the Baby Box last night, I can tell you, and cost me a bit of an overplay there. Guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our video yet, please do so below, and we'll see you over the weekend on Twitter and on the Good for the Game forum.